Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 5. War, you say? Eren says, say no more. So what's up guys, Foxen here. Attack on Titan manga comparison time. Another Season 4 episode that got trending. How many of you were cheering for Eren's attack on Marley? So go ahead and smash that like and subscribe. This week's Episode 5 titled Declaration of War. The same title as Chapter 100. And just for fun, the Attack on Titan Volume 25 does have Eren bursting out of that building. Reiner, take a seat. Manga Reiner looks like he's a moment from falling into Eren's lap. It looks that close. Looks like Eren's first greeting to Reiner didn't make it back into the anime. He said it was good to see that Reiner made it back home. After Falco asked if they were old buddies, small anime cut, Eren originally thanked Falco. Thank you for making this meeting possible. For surprise, Pikachu faced Reiner. That mouth is wide open. Flies are about to land up in there. New for the anime, you got a wide shot of the packed arena before the main event. This was actually used to transition over to Willy. With Willy backstage, you got the Levi ×2 guard standing nearby. Rewatching, you could actually spot the bloodied up actors over to the right. They were in the manga, but I think you could only make them out after like the third time rereading. Anime Willy looks like he's no longer sweating bullets. This is partly due to the less visual droplets, combined with the mirror not looking as pristine. For Kiyomi, getting a look at this granny in more casual clothing. I still recall crazy theories years ago about this supposedly being Mikasa. You actually have a change up here with Kiyomi's parting. Originally, Kiyomi's last line to Willy was, "I pray that you fulfill your duty without incident." Her enemy counterpart now just wishes him luck. In the anime, you now have a clearer shot of Eren's hostages. Looks like at least 4 stories, each room packed with families. No change here, but notice Eren's pre-cut hand. The manga actually gave you the feeling of Eren directly pointing at the people right above his panel. With the moment that Falco realized something was off. Poor kid, he's no longer gonna trust bums on the street. For Kiyomi taking off, the anime actually rearranged a number of scenes this episode. Originally, this was after she bid farewell to Willy. Right in the next panel, Kiyomi was hauling ass out of there. Next up, Annie's Papa's debut. So quick double check for this. They did in fact bring back his voice actor used in Attack on Titan Season 1. Diving even deeper, did you notice Mr. Leonhardt doesn't resemble what he briefly saw of him? In the flashback, he definitely had blonde hair. It seems that Isayama and Wit Studio later updated his design, which was actually done in the Annie OVA special. Annie's father here now resembles what you've seen in Season 4. For a panel chopped out, Mr. Leonhardt goes on how it would be a shame to turn down the honor they were given, this referring to a warrior program benefit, which included the special seats for this main event. What an incredible honor indeed. Regarding Mr. Hoover passing away, Mrs. Braun added how he passed away peacefully in Marley's caring hands up until the very end. From this, it has been thought that Bert might have wanted to become a warrior due to his father's illness, but unfortunately Isayama hasn't expanded on this. For an added detail, do notice the background, especially the tower. It was impossible to tell in the manga, but now you actually have a better idea where these guys were sitting before Eren danced onto the stage. Next change up, Malgus is now the one expressing his concern for announcing the war in this internment zone. Originally, this was voiced by one of the Marley leaders, except that guy was a lot more colorful, that supposedly this place was too filthy, and he even questioned the security in this area. For the military leaders and press, the anime actually did a great job showcasing them, just given their importance being here. The panels in the manga feel like an afterthought, very tiny panels assigned to them. The anime did have a skip line here. It clarified that this also included the Navy and Army commanders for Marley. And then for the families and ambassadors, the manga mentioned these are people who the Tiber family knew. For the warrior section, looks like they're having fun. Anime Porco is still looking awfully tsundere. It's not like I'm here for the Tibers. Anyway, time for the main event. Gotta love the sound blasting now. As for Mr. X reporting for duty, I actually didn't notice this at first. The beard stands out even here. Anime Peak is already looking suspicious, and Zeke is looking like a well-behaved little boy. Getting back to the fun reunion, Anime Falco is now completely silent. No line about the obvious start of the event. Reiner looks like he's about to wet himself. For Reiner being the first to ask why Eren was here, there was a line removed for Eren. That's the first thing you want to ask me, Reiner? As for Reiner having his first mental breakdown, I did notice a visual difference here. The manga did have Eren looking like he was talking down to Reiner during his little moment. Next up, Willy taking the stage, which was actually a scene from the Season 4 trailer, now more polished up. The Jedi robes are now blue. So finally, I love seeing this Titan tale given more life. There's 4 different versions, which does include the glimpse from the trailer and the Attack on Titan exhibit showcase. I like the detail of them including how the puppets are worked in the front. You get even more flavor with the gallons of red Kool-Aid added. History really was a buffet for the Titans. Getting into the Great Titan War. Thankfully, it's much easier to spot individual Titans now. Blondie is definitely the female Titan, and notice the dude over here with armor. One of the bigger details cut from this episode was over here, how the 8 families who held the Titans were in this endless cycle of conspiracy and betrayal. How very Game of Thrones-like. For the great heroes in the anime, clearly a blonde dude. Funny how in the past some people thought this was Agent Stallion undercover. I do have to point out the attention to detail with the blue uniform. This actually matches the blue Marley suit seen in Grisha's flashback, and even Ymir's flashback from season 2. For the actual Great Titan War, you gotta love this whole thing being fleshed out. You could actually spot some Titans getting some wins. Don't screw with the Jaws Titan or Card Titan. And then the Colossal Titan here. There are a lot less in the anime. Perhaps they wanted to keep it to what was physically possible with the puppet show. Getting to the Eldian King on the ground. You can actually now tell that the king is blindfolded too. And also notice the Superman cape. I'm not gonna go into the details now, but I am wondering if this look is giving you a glimpse at a future flashback. A little something to notice that most subtitles did not capture. Willie brought up these Titan scholars or Titan society, which means despite multiple previous mentions removed, this is still around. So perhaps some info will still come back. I'm still betting mid-info card. At the very least, the anime has been consistent with some other cuts. The mention throughout this about the 32 ships being sent and lost over the 4 years has been removed too. Getting back to Mommy and Daddy talking. After Eren's comment about wanting to save the world, the anime skipped what came after. That 4 clueless kids were sent to the island without knowing a damn thing. Next up, like half a page removed. Looks like the Warhammer Titan and Helos were putting on this intermission show while the sweaty Willie was refueling to the side. For the peak tank squad. Oh, I'm definitely feeling the guy's anger over here. Mr. Chin over here is about to rip his willy off. Getting to the Titan Ho. The anime actually gave you a cleaner look at Mr. X. By the way, love Peak's freakout face. Getting to the grand reveal. There were several pieces cut out throughout Willie's speech. For a juicy one about the Eldian King. Specifically, this was the 145th Eldian King. Willie claimed that he disliked the Eldian Empire's history before even inheriting the founding Titan. With the mention of the king taking in the founding Titan, he actually offered himself to bring an end to the Eldian Empire. Willie specified that while Eldia was being brought down, the king moved over his people. For the actual King Carl, Willie mentioned that on top of peace, the king wished for the liberation of Marley from their years of persecution by Eldia. The king was fine with Marley taking the founding Titan or his own life if needed. The anime skipped over him also being fine if Marley decided to exterminate all Eldians. The king felt that Eldians and Titans should have never existed, which is why he wanted to accept responsibility and atone. All of this was mentioned over the scene of the 2 ladies, or I guess 1.5, plus some hungry Titans coming over. It is weird to see this image not included, especially since the season 2 opening makes a reference to it. Then for Kenny and the founding Titan, you could barely see them in the manga version. Switching over to the warriors respawning, some flavor removed. Peak actually took notice of the straw placed down here, meaning that whoever captured them wanted them to survive. Peak also brought up how Marley has more than a few of these holes around, which was hinting at these used to capture Titans in the past. The anime completely removed Peak busting out some booze and the portable toilet. Looks like Mr. X was nice. Getting back to Willie. Very interesting removal. You no longer had Willie apologizing for sacrificing them when looking over. For the actual group here, you got the tall guard and Isabella's twin. So freaking amazing. Since Willie had just talked about them being sacrificed, for manga readers it was thought that Willie brought the entire Tiber family over and had them on standby. The anime now seems to confirm it, they weren't there, at least not in this specific location. Anyway, time for the Red Boys. Small change-up. No more pieces of walls and wall chunks to the side. Also no Colossal Titans in the background. For some Titan lore removed, there is no mention how the 3 walls were named after the 3 daughters of the founder Ymir, which Willie was actually referencing with the 3 plates he was sporting. Notice the wall worshippers did the same, just not as subtle. Anyway, presenting the enemy to the world, the devil Eren Yeager. Of course they would use the red lighting here. A skip line here was how Eren opposed the peaceful world that the king wanted. If you love Feet or Mr. Freedom, you got a real treat this episode. Eren dead pulling that sucker looked weirder in the manga shot. As for the rumbling, in the manga Willie also added that despite them making weapons to take out Titans, their weapons would not be able to challenge millions of Colossal Titans. Poor Falco, his thoughts removed. Falco actually thought about how this could be the perfect chance. The founding Titan that Marley was so desperate to get was right in front of them. It was now up to him and Reiner. Then, for Eren asking why his mom had to be eaten, there was actually no focus on his hand dripping right before Reiner answered. Eren, you came to make us suffer, right? What a destroyer-looking fella. Reiner, we're the same. It feels like this line got lost in translation. But notice, in Japanese, Eren actually repeated this line 3 times throughout this. With Eren going into flashback territory, the anime skipped over him understanding that Reiner and the Eldians were taught that they were different, that those island devils threatened the world, not them. Then, for Reiner bending over asking Daddy for more, the manga also flashed back to Kid Reiner on the ground trying to convince Annie and Burrito. Switching back to Willy, skipped over was how Willy credited all the dangers in their world as a result of Eldians existing. I freaking love the anime combining Willy and Reiner's scene, one wanting to live and one pleading to die. Just as Willy voiced wanting to not die, the anime skipped over a shot of Zeke in the distance looking back. Look at all the people in the crowd, tears and tears, all of them moved by their buddy on stage. For a new anime scene, you actually have a bunch of the guards closing in on Eren's location. Even Willy got to tears asking the others to join his war. Notice Eren reaching down with that cut bloody hand. How many of you recall a similar stained hand in the season 3 opening? Perhaps one of the most hype moments? Glow baby, glow. Reiner, weren't you asking to die a moment ago? To which I do have to give massive props to Reiner, thinking about Falco in that very moment. Unfortunately, all of this was way too quick. You did see the building busting, but the anime didn't include the glimpse of the people right above. Before even Willy, Eren just killed a few hundred. Then, the Attack Titan smashing through. Too bad this was super quick. You could actually spot some of the blood in the manga panel. So what's up, Willy? Why so surprised? I just noticed it after a rewatch. The poor dude in the crowd on the left got smacked. Look at that glorious Attack Titan phase. The island devil they preached about has arrived, and I'm loving it. Hopefully you enjoyed the ride, Willy. This guy got tossed up like a Titan chew toy. Pretty much a one-to-one with the manga. If you really want to nitpick for a difference, you can't clearly spot the people getting pancaked from all the building chunks in the background. I've also gotten some questions about Eren's Titan eyes looking blue. To me, they still look green. Perhaps that yellow lighting is throwing it off. For 7 pages not covered this episode, it involved this flashback with Willy and the commander. I'm predicting this is going to be very likely at the start of the next episode. If it isn't, it's going to be in the next week's Attack on Titan manga comparison. Which means the total content covered in episode 5, about 2 chapters rounding up, excluding those 7 pages. I still think overall a nearly perfect episode. Let me know, how do you feel about it days later? I bet it's still a 10 out of 10 for a good chunk of you. I think I'm getting used to the music used. And about the CG Titan Eren. I don't know why, but I think at this point I'm surprised that people are still complaining. Especially anyone that thought CG ruined the scene or has ruined the series. Honestly, my first few times watching, I didn't even notice. I had to rewatch multiple times to kind of spot it. And I think if it's to that point, we're good. Besides, CG Titan Eren should not be a surprise. I did let you guys know like a month ago from the MAPPA showcase event. CG Titan Eren was coming. I'm still hoping that the Titan vs Titan brawl is a mixture of CG and hand-drawn animation. Hopefully similar to what they showed you in the trailer. For those of you that have been asking about the stage event, the clip you have seen is from the Attack on Titan final exhibit. I'll link you to this down below. Just know it does show a little bit of what comes after. So only watch if you're fine with spoilers, although you're good if you've already seen the season 4 trailer. It's more like another teaser. But anyway, let me know what you thought about this episode below, especially CG Titan Eren. Did you enjoy the music? Or just say hi? Don't forget to subscribe, and do check out my best anime of 2020, or check out some interesting stuff about isekai deaths. And I'll see you guys later.